Coming up on Week 11 of NFL Primetime, football's two behemoths, the Cowboys and Niners, renew acquaintances at the stick. The Chiefs look to ground Brett Favre in the pack at Arrowhead, while Dandy Dan looks for 50 grand against the Colts. The Bills try to bring some northern exposure to Philly. Can the Bucs just win, baby, at the Sombrero? The PATS and the JETS go down to the wire in a battle at the Meadowlands. And the Redskins and Cardinals go down to about 5 wires at RFK, while the Rams offense finally gets a jump start and then some against the Falcons. The Broncos try to take a deep breath in becoming football's first 9-win team. All that and much more coming up on NFL Primetime. Once again, everybody, I'm Chris Berman. Welcome to a wild, and I do mean wild, Week 11 on NFL Primetime. So many of these games deserve a first, second, and third look. That's why I have first look, second look, third look. With me, as always, is Tom Jackson and the judge, Bill Pidto. First, though, let's get you caught up on the late games around the NFL. Denver struggling at home against the Bears. They lead at 17-12 with about a buck and a half to go in this game. A Jager's 48-yard field goal has cut that deficit to 5. Boy, the Seattle Seahawks, who woke them up? They are at 5-5. Look like they're going to have a 3-game sweep at home. And the Vikings have fallen to 5-5. There's a lifetime left in this game, but I don't think the Vikings are going to catch them. 42-7, Seattle over the Vikes. A game of mild interest. Dallas and San Francisco are tied at 17-all in the waning seconds of regulation at 3.com Park. Marquez Pope had an interception, but then Fred Strickland had an interception back for Dallas. Touchdown from Aikman to Bjornsson with under 3 minutes to go. That's where we stand. Baltimore and the Jaguars had 27-22. Brunell to James Stewart with a touchdown with under 4 minutes to go there. They went for 2, did not get it, so Baltimore leads it by 5 with under 4 minutes to go. Our Sunday night game here on ESPN, it's going to be a memorable evening at Ericsson Stadium. Everybody revved up down there for the Giants and Panthers in the first national telecast coming from Charlotte. Mark Malone is set to call the game, of course, with our Mike Patrick and Joe Theismann, and he tells us nothing could be finer than to be in Carolina in the evening.
All right, thanks, Boomer, and welcome to a rather chilly Charlotte, North Carolina. The atmosphere here, however, is electric. It is the Carolina Panthers' biggest game in their brief 2-year history. 72,000-plus people will come together to witness for the first time a broadcast in prime time on national television. Quarterback Kerry Collins will get the start despite having injured his knee last week, and he'll face a Giants defense that's given up only 2 touchdowns and created 7 turnovers in their last 2 ball games. Collins talked to us about the league's most underrated defense.
They don't have a lot of big name guys and a lot of guys who stand out, but collectively as a defense, they're probably the best defense that we've played all year. They're not giving up a lot of points, they're creating a lot of turnovers, and they're playing very solid defense. And if we want to play well, we're going to have to execute.
Giant quarterback Dave Brown, also injured last week, will start despite having torn a muscle in his lower back. He practiced all week, but the injury has left him with back spasms and unable to run against a Carolina defense that leads the league with 32 sacks. And Boomer, to commemorate the festivities here tonight in Carolina, they're passing out these. Imagine that. 60,000 of your closest friends will be on hand for this game.
It's like Rod Stewart and Faces are performing during that game at Ericsson Stadium. That should be fun. That comes up at the top of the hour. Mercy, to quote Roy Orbison. When we roll on NFL Primetime, what a wild game this was. It took longer to play the Skins and Cards than it took for Clinton to get reelected. Packers-Chiefs, a surprise at Arrowhead. Good D, Kansas City.
Brought to you by Nike and by Travelers Insurance. What we all want. Travelers Insurance provides something to hold on to.
Usually on NFL Primetime, we kind of ease into this show, but we're going to take a different approach because we're going to show you the Cardinals and the Redskins at RFK. Now, when we show these highlights, keep in mind that going into this game, Arizona quarterback Boomer Esiason had only 512 yards passing for the entire season. So keep that in mind, and here we go. Second quarter, the Skins lead at 10-6. Supposed to be a laugher for Washington. Boomer doesn't like the play call, and then he backs up. Calls shotgun, changes the play. Skins don't change the defense. He airs it. Right back, Marcus Dowdell, and he's gone. 64 yards. Cards lead it 13-10. Third quarter, the Skins lead at 20-13. Terry Allen, number 16 rushing touchdown of the year. He'd score another, the Skins lead 27-13. Then Larry Sanders has scored after a couple of long bombs to Rob Moore. And then in the fourth quarter, they scored 34-20. Washington still about 14. Esiason and Johnny McWilliams, 14 yards. And it Skins up only 34-27. Under a minute to go. Esiason, trying to tie the game, is picked off by Marcus Patton for his 5th interception of the day, at least against Boomer, but there's a flag on the play. Offsides, Washington, and the Cards have second life. 25 seconds to go in the shotgun to Anthony Edwards. Touchdown! We're tied at 34-all, and we go to overtime. 5 minutes, 3rd and 3 to Cards. Key play, Boomer, Frank Sanders. Can't they cover? He's out at the 19-yard line within field goal range. They just fired Greg Davis. Hired Kevin Butler. The Butler did not do it. Why? Redskins ball. Scott Blanton. He has a chance from 38 yards. It's good. The Redskins win. But there's a flag on the play. Holding Scott Galbraith. Moving back 10 yards. Blanton from 48. No. We play on into the RFK dust. Them with another chance to win. Esiason, again from the shotgun, he was effective there, Tom.
Yeah, he's throwing again to Dowdell, and you see him throwing the ball with authority to the outside. Dowdell, again, the missed tackles, 2 of them right there by the Skins, puts the ball down for 1st and 10.
522 yards throwing for Boomer Esiason, one of the best of all time. Kevin Butler for 37 yards out. Doink! It's no good. The Butler did not do it. But offsides, Washington. Move it in 5 yards. 32-yard attempt. This time, 3rd time's a charm. Finally, it's over. It's all over. Arizona shocks the Skins after 7 straight wins. The Skins have lost 2 in a row, 37-34. And the numbers for Boomer Esiason, downright scary. Boomer, on the day, 35 of 59. Yes, he was picked off 4 times, but he threw for 522 yards, the 3rd best ever passing job by a quarterback. Tom, what's going on with the Skins defense?
Well, 522 passing given up today, 270 given up rushing to the Bills last week. Very porous defense, a team that was 7-1 a couple of weeks ago, now with 3 losses on their record.
With Philadelphia, San Francisco, and Dallas coming up on their schedule when we return on NFL Primetime. First, we're going to tell you about inside the numbers, because when you have numbers like Boomer Esiason did, firing at will against the Redskins, and often that time was good coverage, but boy, they were wide open. Only Norm Van Brocklin in 1951 and Warren Moon 6 years ago had better passing days than Boomer Esiason. Only 7 quarterbacks have ever thrown for 500 yards. Boomer today enters that club.
Inside the Numbers is brought to you by Visa, the preferred card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be.
Wow, can we top that? We'll try. Eddie George against the porous Saints rushing defense. Guess what happened? Raiders and the Bucs. A cross-country flight after a Monday night loser. Guess what happened?
We want to win that ESPN name game sweepstakes.
Ben Winter coats.
Eric's sleeping with the enemy.
To enter, watch NFL Primetime Sunday night, November 3rd. Write down a Berman nickname you hear and call the number shown. You could win a trip for 2 to the 1997 Super Bowl. Watch NFL Primetime and your nickname could be prize winner. Visa, the official card of the NFL, presents ESPN's name game sweepstakes.
We can't hear you.
We have the judge, Bill Pidto, with us right now, and I guess Oilers Saints, the battle of the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah. Could the Saints do anything on run defense? That would be the question. The Saints have been run on and run over, last in the NFL in rushing D. The Saints gave up 214 yards to Arizona's LaShawn Johnson in Week 4. They gave up 149 yards to Baltimore's Ernest Byner in Week 5, and last Sunday night, the Saints allowed the Niners to run for 191 yards as a team. So it did not bode well for the Saints against Houston's running rookie Eddie George. You say all that, and Houston passed the ball. Chris Chandler back from a groin injury, missed last week. Oilers throwing early and effectively. Chandler to Ronnie Harmon, who had a huge game. 16 yards on the play, down to the 41. 2 plays later, Chandler whoops, but picks it up. Chris Sanders has got it. Chris Sanders is gone. 42 yards for the touchdown. Oilers up by the score of 7-0. The Saints would fumble the ball back to the Oilers on the kickoff. So the Oilers, Chandler, Harmon, 22 yards. He gets inside the 15. And then 2 plays later, Chandler to a wide open Harmon in the end zone, 11 yards. Touchdown. Oilers up 14-0. Second quarter, it's more the same. Oilers up 14-6. Chandler to Harmon, 8 yards, down to the 8. Harmon, 108 total yards in the first half. There you see the specifics. Tommy, then some trickery.
Yeah, Eric Norgaard going to work the tackle, eligible here. The importance of selling the block. Right there, he does on the end, slips off into the flat for a touchdown.
And a tough day for the Saints. The punter, Klaus Wilsmeyer.
Louisville.
Run over. Malcolm Floyd ran him over. Don't read those lips. Oilers go on to win by the final score of 31-14. Eddie George, 21 carries for 95 yards. But the story, Harmon, 47 yards rushing, 108 yards receiving on 7 catches. Chandler, 3 TD passes. Complete domination by the Oilers. 1 touchdown pass for Jim Everett in the loss. He's the 20th player all-time with 200 career touchdown passes. Our next stop, Falcons and the suddenly potent Rams. What's going on? The rookie Eddie Kennison, the top punt returner in the National Football League. He's got it. And he gets a big block there, and he's gone. 78 yards for the touchdown. His second punt return TD this season. 7-0 Rams. Tommy, some analysis.
Yeah, we take a look at the key block on Elbert Shelley right there by Mike Skurlock and Claudius Wright, and you see what it's like to be the outside guy in coverage on a kick return.
Lawrence Phillips, the rookie, been struggling, but he had his best day as a pro. Nice cutback for 16 yards. 6 plays later, Phillips up and over for the touchdown. 14 carries, 106 yards for him. 21-0 Rams. Falcons next possession. Bobby Hebert will go back to pass. It's tipped and then picked off by Toby Wright, who's in the right place at the right time. Touchdown. 28-0 Rams early in the second. June Jones, how much longer will I have this job? Rams win it 59-16. The Rams' most points in one game since December 4th, 1976. That game was also against Atlanta. Just the Rams' 5th win in their last 20 games. We told you about Phillips. Harold Green also 13 carries, 106 yards, and 2 touchdown runs. The Rams pick up 279 yards rushing as a team. Chris, it's hard to believe, but the Rams were the worst offensive team in the entire league coming into this game.
That's why they play the games. Only since 1960, we didn't have time to dust off all the old books. Only 13 times this team scored 59 or more points. Welcome the St. Louis Rams to that book. All right, well, team that doesn't score a lot of points throughout their entire history, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, hosting the Raiders at the Big Sombrero. Raiders making that tough cross-country flight after a tough Monday night loss. Meanwhile, Trent Dilfer, I know we've been on him, but he has been much better the last month. 3rd and 14. My goodness, look at the time. To Carl Williams in traffic, 24 yards, first down, Buccaneers. Late in the drive. The Bucs had the ball 23 minutes in the first half, by the way. Dilfer to the right flat to Eric Reddy. He's going to beat Terry McDaniel at the touchdown. 7-0 Buccaneers, 9.5-minute drive, 13 plays, 78 yards. Second quarter, though, after a Dilfer fumble, Raiders take advantage. Harvey Williams, the option jump pass to James Shadowmuth. He makes a nice jump on the photographer. We're tied at 7. All right, now we move to the fourth quarter, 7-10 Raiders, 3rd and 8. Dilfer cannot find anybody, but guess what? A real surprise. There's a flag on the play, roughing the passer, Tom.
Yeah, you see Andre Bruce come in here and not come in low around the legs, but come in high, come in late, get the roughing call, and the Buccaneers maintain possession.
About 12 penalties for the Raiders. Nothing's changed. Dilfer to Mike. You're in good hands with Allstott. Touchdown, and we're tied at 17 all. Under 2 minutes to go. The Raiders 1st and goal at the 7. They're going to run to the end zone for what? No, they're going to kneel. So on second down, they're going to run for what? No, they're going to kneel. Let's tick, 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 tick. Why not? We got Cole Ford. He's already kicked a tough field goal in the win. We're not even going to try for the end zone. And the kick is up, and it's no good. It's no good from 28 yards. Mike White can't believe it. In overtime, Bucks carried the play on 2 drives. Allstott caught a big pass, ran inside the 5. They run for it. Michael Houston, field goal. It felt like a touchdown. Yeah, Cole Ford didn't get it done. Houston did, and the Buccaneers win it 20-17, only the second win for Tony Dungy, but after 4 straight weeks of allowing only 13 points, again, they hold an opponent in the teens. You play defense like that, Tom. They held to Oakland, playing 271 yards. And look, I mean, you're supposed to make the chip shot, but don't you have to at least run toward the goal line once in that situation, even though you're at the 7?
Well, we both watched the game, and we know that it's a game of mentality, and I think that certainly the mentality of the Raiders was such that they had the momentum offensively, but when you kneel down on the ball 3 times and make no effort, and we've seen it a couple of times this year, once from the 49ers, now we see it from this team. You kneel down on the ball, you take the heart out of your ball club. If you happen to miss that kick, you pretty much lost that ball game.
Well, and that's what happened. The Raiders lost 2 tough games in a week, and 4-4 has now become 4-6. A wasted week for the Oakland Raiders. When we return, plenty coming up. The Jets try to make life miserable for Drew Bledsoe. Dan Marino looking for a bunch of zeros in the record column. Would he get him against the Colts? Game at the Meadowlands. The Patriots have been a hot squad. Bill Parcells used to own this building for the New York Jets. A win and a bye, figuring, hey, we fear no evil. Patriots already trail 7-0, and Aaron Glenn has covered Terry Glenn like a blanket. 2 interceptions against Bledsoe and 2 possessions for the Jets. Big day for the Jets' little man, Adrian Morrell. Cuts up the middle for 7 yards, and Tommy, he had another 100-yard day.
Yeah, you're going to see Morrell here. He has great vision, especially inside. You see him here with the slight cutback, moves back to the middle of the field for about a 10-yard gain, drags a few people at the end of that run.
And then at the end of the drive, it's a touchdown, and the Jets lead at 21-0. Morrell with 128 yards on 31 carries. Late in the second quarter, would it be a tuna melt? No. Bledsoe comes back. You know, the Patriots play these basketball games. To Terry Glenn, pretty pass, 26 yards, 21-7 at the half. Second half, Bledsoe to Sean Jefferson. He's moving on up. Inside the Jets' 45-yard line, sets up a Curtis Martin run. Now it's Bledsoe to Ben Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoats. We're tied at 24. Jets now have the ball at the Patriots 36. Frank Reich to Richie Anderson. Beats Ricky Reynolds. 50 yards, sets up a field goal by Nick Lowry, 27-24 the Jets. Late 4th on 4th and 2. Watch this. Coates, he has to get to the 49. He doesn't even get across the 50, but they call it a first down. Look at the spot time. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, you look at the replay right here. He barely crosses the 50, and ball actually right on the 50. They marked that ball at the 48.
Oh, my goodness. And the Bledsoe makes him pay for it. Keith Byers, a touchdown, 31-27, the P-Men. Frank Reich to Jeff Graham, crackers for 10 yards. Then time running down. 2nd and 10 from the 11. Wayne Crepet can't come up with it. To Keyshawn Johnson. He's covered. It's over his head. Parcells and Al Groh, defensive coordinator. Rich Kotite. Everybody on the edge of their seats, on the edge of the sideline. 23 seconds to go. 4th and 10. The Jets can win. Frank Reich. It's tipped by lawyers in Love Malloy. And the Patriots beat the Jets 31-27 after New York started off with a 21-0 lead. The Patriots have won 4 straight games in their division. They've beaten everyone else in the last month. They've won 7 of 8. After an 0-2 start, the Jets are getting better. Both Reich and Bledsoe, by the way, close to 300 yards passing in this game. Colts and Dolphins elsewhere in the AFC East. Dan Marino needs 83 yards to complete 50,000 yards of passing. You have to be kidding me. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The 20-yard run down to the 25-yard line. 2nd and 8 from the 12. Marino to O.J. McDuffie. And still can move. He steps up. 7-3. Dolphins. Second quarter, just 6 yards needed for 50,000. And Marino, play fake. Steps up. Zing! To O.J. McDuffie. 50,000 and more. To 30, down to the 37-yard line. Marino in the first half was 11-15. Dolphins up 14-3 in the second. Oh, by the way, let's go for another record. How about 4,000 completions to Fred Barnett? Same score, still in the second. Marino. Watch acrobatic Barnett, who made an amazing recovery from an off-season injury or preseason. 21-3, Miami, Tom, but the Colts trouble.
Yeah, another game where the Colts struggle offensively. There's Zach Thomas plugging a hole on Marshall Faulk. Then Jim Harbaugh getting immediate pressure, rolling out. Can't find his receiver in the end zone. And then Gross dropping the ball on him. So all in all, a bad day for the Colts offense.
And Harbaugh, well, then watch this. Daniel Ticket Stubbs has him in the grasp. The intentional grounding in the end zone. No, they're not praying. It's a safety. 23-6 Miami in the third. Barnett says, I like this touchdown thing, Dan. How about another one? Another acrobatic catch. 30-6, Tom.
Yeah, and Harbaugh here, you watch him throw the ball. Looks like he has a good release, but the ball picked off by Calvin Jackson. Starts back for the Dolphins. And that would seal. Oh, and he fumbles the ball right there. Cliff Gross and Sean Wooden would recover for Miami.
And I'm not sure what Harbaugh was doing in the game, taking a beating so late with everything out of control. I mean, let the youngster Justin got in, but not after Harbaugh got battered with the game totally lost. And both the Dolphins and the Colts now are at 5-5. The Colts were 4-0. So now they have gone backwards to 5-5, 37-13, the final. And Tommy, what happened to the Colts here?
Well, I talked with the Colts this week, and what they talked about is problems with injuries in 3 specific areas. 1, running back, linebacker, offensive line, and I think we see all those things take effect. Marshall Faulk is not healthy, and it shows in his running style. They're unable to play the kind of defense they played that kept them in ball games, and Harbaugh is receiving pressure every time he goes back to pass.
It doesn't take much to take a pretty good football team with injuries as part of the problem, make them an average football team or below. 15 carries, 33 yards for the Colts. Not good. When we return, hey, Steelers have owned the Bengals, but the Bengals have a new feeling in the refurbished jungle. And the Buffalo Bills that take that NFC East again. All right, the Steelers and the Bengals. And what can you say? Bruce Coslett says, hey, I'm 2-0, and we want the jungle here in the snow. Remember when it used to be loud and we used to be a tough place to play? Well, Jerome Bettis says, I don't remember that. Rolls past James Francis like a freight train, 28 yards. Bettis has had 100 yards out almost every game for the Steelers. And watch this, boom, 15 yards out of the 7. 2 plays later, from the 6, Bettis, boom, just like that. 8 touchdowns for him, 10-3 Pittsburgh. First Steeler with 1,000 yards since 92. That can't be right. Well, Tom, what about Bieniemy?
Well, and Bieniemy goes a little bit overboard right there trying to intimidate Rod Woodson and draws a roughing penalty for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, instead of a squib kick at the end of half, 17-10, they figure instead of a long kick, they figure a squib kick. But look what happened. David Dunn makes him pay. He could go all the way 90 yards on a squib kick. The crowd ecstatic. We're tied at 17 at the half. Bettis has scored another touchdown to make it 24-17. So let's kind of kick it deep. And this time it's done heading up to Jeff Hill. And Jeff Hill goes downhill. Look at him. To the 40. To the midfield stripe before he's hauled down. And then 5 plays later with the jaw out by Cowher. Eric sleeping with Bieniemy gets the toss. Willie Anderson's going to make a big block. And Bieniemy's gone. Touchdown, Bengals.
Yeah, and let's take a look at that block again. Look at Willie Anderson on Randy Fuller right there. Pancakes him, clears away for Bieniemy to the end zone.
There's Tom in the stands inside of 24 to his hometown. Jeff Blake the screen to Gajana Carter. And the block by Kent Blackman, 66, 12 yards. He goes over to his mom, says, take the ball, Mom. We're up by 7, then by 10. And Mike Tomczak picked up by Roger Jones. He could go all the way. Tomczak knocks him down. The Bengals didn't even try to go in. They weren't even interested. Carl Pickens, Darnay Scott. But you know that KG Bruce Coslett, they could never dump him. And no Bengals coach has ever started out 3-0. And so the Bengals, who had lost 10 of 11 to the Steelers, including 5 in a row at home, have beaten Pittsburgh by the count of 34-24. And despite 111 yards rushing by Bettis, it's Blake that threw for 275 despite the 3 picks. And the Bengals win. They cannot be stopped. Well, 4 weeks ago, the Buffalo Bills and their quarterback, Jim Kelly, looked to be a veteran team in trouble. But we said this last week, and in case you weren't watching, we would like to repeat. Nobody circles the wagons better than the Buffalo Bills. They beat Washington last week. They're in Philly for some cheesesteak this week. That looks good. And early on, the Eagles led 7-0. But for the Eagles fans, this did not look good. ESPN's Tommy Hutton has the punt block by Gabe Northern Exposure. Does the block, picks it up, and scores. It's the trifecta, 18-yard touchdown. We're tied at 7.
Yeah, and you can always tell a guy who's missed the block. Watch Joe Kelly, bottom of the screen, right there, spot shadowed. He doesn't run down the field to cover because he knows there's no need. Ball's going to be blocked by Northern. Try to pick him up before he gets to the end zone.
So we're tied at 7. Now, after a field goal, 10-7 Eagles. Jim Kelly to Andre Reed on 3rd and 13. Hits a first down. The Bills completed all 4 third down situations on this drive. Moments later from the 5. Thurman Thomas. He showed the moves the last few weeks at New England in the second half against Washington. Doesn't he follow the blockers well?
Well, and the thing that was most impressive about Thurman today, he still had that bounce in his step to get to the outside and beat people around the corner.
Here's his running mate, Derek Holmes, says we've got the lead. Now the Bills defense, Bruce Smith said hello to Ty Detmer. Then in the blitz, Marlon Kern. Oh, man, Tom.
Yeah, and you watch this blitz coming from the safety, gets a clear shot, and look at the snap on Detmer's head right there. But Detmer bounces up from that shot.
Yeah, he's tough. Third quarter, Bills leading 17-10, Thermal Thomas. Now he has the bounce to the outside of the 10-yard line. Moments later, Jim Kelly to Quinn Early. Pretty good coverage, but a touchdown. He beats Troy Vincent 24-10 Bills. Early fourth quarter, the Eagles come back. Ty Detmer, 4 for 4 and starts another big game for Irving Fryer. 10-yard touchdown, 24-17. Then the pass to Irving Fryer. And look at the lick that Matt Stevens, number 23, the rookie, puts on him. Then Fryer says, no problem. Let me dust myself off. It's a first down. Then 3 minutes to go on the 11th play of the drive. Ricky running waters inside the 20. Ray Rhodes, that stoic look. Second and goal. Detmer. Then Jimmy Johnson to the tight end, but Matt Stevens breaks it up. Fourth and goal, 25 seconds left. Bruce Smith beats his man. Sacks Detmer, game over.
Yeah, and that man, Barrett Brooks, the tackle, we're going to see him watching Bruce Smith coming from the top of the screen, just working his way to Detmer, and once he gets him in his grabs, it's all over. And actually, that was a fumble for the Bills.
So the Buffalo Bills have now done it again to an NFC East power. They beat the Eagles and the Redskins. They already earlier beat, remember when Todd Collins started against Dallas? They beat the Giants in opening week. And so the Bills now at 7-3 keep pace with the Patriots atop the AFC East, and it's a 2-game lead on everybody else. And, you know, Jim Kelly didn't have a great day, but calling the plays, he and the Bills offense seemed to have so much of a better feel. And they looked in command after Philly went right down the field in the first drive and led it 7-0.
Yeah, and the Bills come up with another 140 yards running the football, takes a little pressure off Jim Kelly, helps the offensive line. Offensive line gave up no sacks today. And we talked this morning about Ty Detmer only being sacked 4 times in his 4 starts thus far this year. Today he was sacked 5 times by the Buffalo Bills. That kind of pressure results in the turnovers. That kind of pressure results in you being able to dictate defensively.
Bruce Smith had 2 of those sacks, and you saw the big one at the end of the game. He said that this Bills defense is the best that they've ever had since he's been here. And the Eagles found out the hard way today. And we go inside the numbers. Once again, the Bills in the regular season have dusted the NFC East. They're 11-1 now in the 1990s. You know, if only this would work in January. But it certainly works in the fall. We're going to work on winter. When that winter solstice comes around, there's just something happens. I don't know. When we return, Packers-Chiefs. The Packers 8-1, but the Chiefs churned it up at Arrowhead. In overtime, Kevin Green and the Panthers readying for their ESPN Sunday night game against the Giants at the top of the hour. Well, if the Cowboys and the 49ers were the Tyson Holyfield main card, there was a significant undercard, as there was last night in Las Vegas. 8-1 Green Bay at the 6-3 Kansas City Chiefs. And the Chiefs said, this is the time for us to look at the Super Bowl contender, which we did early on. I got you, babe. Steve Bono to Sean LaChapelle. Down to the 10-yard line. They're crying in the chapel for Sean LaChapelle. 3-0 Kansas City, if you know French. Well, Mark Jamore doesn't know French, and he knows he's out with a strained left arch. More on that in a moment. That's a critical injury to the Pack. And then good Chiefs defense.
Yeah, Von Booker right there. Then Tracy Simeon right there putting the pressure on Favre. And then finally James Hasty right there coming up with the sack. So Favre under pressure throughout the day today.
Second quarter, Chiefs defense got it going. How about the offense? Bono to Tamarick Vanover. Doug Evans, looked like pretty good coverage, but they call the pass interference. And Evans arguing by Aqua. Nope. And they call the flag. He pushes the back judge, Tim Millis. Mike Holmgren is livid. Chiefs pounded out at midfield. Greg Hill, big game for him. Right in the middle, Grunhard doing the blocking. Then left side, look at the blocks that Kimball Anderson, fullback, helped spring these runs for Hill, 14 yards. John Alton, company on the left. Anders again. Hill with an 8-yard touchdown, 13-3 Kansas City. Next possession. The Chiefs more up to date. Boy, they are tough at Arrowhead. I got you, babe. Greg Hill. Touchdown from Steve Bono. 20-6 Kansas City at the half. Third quarter. Brett Favre, could he rally the Packers? First and 10 at the 25. Neil Smith. High karate, right there. Knocks the ball loose. Derek Thomas falls on it, and the Chiefs ball at the 24. So, we're at the 24. Greg Hill says, let's see. We need 24 yards. Grunhart with the block. Look at the hole up the middle, Tom. And Greg Hill goes 24 yards for a touchdown. And you know what? Take that, Packer fans. He says, I'm into my own stand. That Favre's got to get out of the way. More problems for Favre, Tommy, with the Kansas City defense.
Derek Thomas here beating rookie tackle John Michaels with the outside move and then coming back inside. No fumble was called on this play. Packer retained possession, and then Favre going downfield, and watch the play by Dale Carter right there. Perfect timing on his jump to knock that pass away.
Give the Packers credit. They can come back from any deficit. Down 14 a minute to go. Derek Mays, the rookie, with a spectacular one-handed grab, has cut the margin to 27-20. Greg Hendrick with the kick, but Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Kimball Anders falls on it. Packers are offside anyway, by the way. Greg Hill is happy, and why wouldn't he be? 14 carries for 94 yards. Marcus Allen also had 48 yards. We showed you that Hill also caught the catch for 34 yards. So a big day for him. As the Chiefs now back in the hunt at 7-3. The Packers lose for them the second time all year, 27-20, Kansas City. And, you know, sometimes we get on Kansas City a little bit. We really shouldn't. But they just look like they're conservative and they're basic. But when their basics are like this, they shouldn't do anything else, Tom.
But running the ball, and I think when you look at the Packers, we'll flip this over in a second, but you look at the Packers, the Vikings, the Chiefs, and the Lions have all had success running the ball against the Packers. So I think the key, stay in the game so you can effectively have some patience with your running game. And if you are the Green Bay Packers, you're worried now about the ability of people to run the ball on you, but that will pale in comparison to the loss of Chamorro, who helps that running game and also is a go-to guy offensively for Favre in the passing game.
Yeah, he protects on those injuries that you talk about, and 383 yards against the top-rated defense in the NFL. So Kansas City had a big offensive day. Bono looking like he did early this year. He had slumped. Boy, a lot of the contenders, a lot of the big-time contenders losing in wacky Week 11, but we've only begun to fight. Elsewhere, the Vikes. Oh, my goodness, the Seahawks. Two teams going to 5-5 from different directions. And, oh, yeah, the Cowboys are playing the 49ers. Did anyone care about this game? We'll show you what happened.
Cable, color television cameras, Weissman and Patrick in the booth. And on the field, Mark Malone. Microphones. There's even a blimp. And don't forget the big matchups.
Are you ready? I said, are you ready?
It's ESPN Sunday Night NFL. Much more than a game, it is the game.
Rodney Hampton and the Giants. 5-1 behind Joe Morris's career touchdown rushing record for the Giants. Creeping up. This could be the night. All sorts of things happening here and all sorts of things happening at the Kingdom. Where is it? John Freeze? Is it the trout up there? What's going? The salmon? I mean, everything's working right for the Seahawks.
All I know is they're getting so good. I don't think I'm going to be doing the games much longer.
You could lose the Seahawks very quickly on this show.
Seattle and Minnesota. Minnesota's 5-1 start has been wiped out by 3 straight losses. The offense has been the problem. Just 5 touchdowns in the last 5 games. Running back Robert Smith hurt his knee in Week 9. He's gone for the year. Quarterback Warren hasn't been a full moon because of bad ankles. In and out of the lineup all year. Moon was in at Seattle. And let's take a look. First quarter, 3-0 Seattle. David Palmer returning the punt. Stripped by Jay Bellamy. J.J. Cunningham recovers. Seahawks have the football. They make the Vikes pay. Lamar Smith, touchdown, 10-0 Seattle. Late second quarter now. Moon. Pass is tipped, picked off by Jay Bellamy. Seahawks again take advantage. John Freeze front. Idaho. It's Ricky Prohl. Freeze has been great since he's become the starter. 19 yards on this play. And then on the very next play, Freeze the fade to Joey Galloway. Beautiful effort by Galloway, 21-7 Seattle. Under 30 seconds in the half. Moon tries to hit Chris Carter, tip. Winston Moss picks it off. Again, the Seahawks. 2 plays later, Steve Broussard through the left side. Several great cuts, and he goes 26 yards for the touchdown. 15 points in the final 55 seconds of the half for Seattle. They're up 28-7. Tommy, some analysis.
Well, Billy, you saw it right there. Atrocious tackling on the part of the Vikings all day. Here, Chris Warren with a nice handoff up the middle. Forces 5 missed tackles by the Vikings as he gains 24 yards. You got to wrap him up.
On the next play, it's Lamar Smith. Again, he breaks through. 22 yards on the play, sets up a touchdown. Seattle's up 35-7. Then watch how dicey it got. David Palmer back to return a punt. Goes to make a hit. The ball hits him. The ball hits him right there. Dicey, dicey, dicey. That's a turnover. And it sets up Breeze again to Prohl again. 22 yards, touchdown, 29 points by the Seahawks off Vikings turnovers. And they go on to win 42-23. The Vikes in a free fall. They've lost 4 straight. The Seahawks have won 3 straight. It's just the 3rd time in 6 years that Seattle wins 3 in a row. Breeze 4-1 as a starter, threw for 263 yards and 2 touchdowns. Our next stop, the Ravens and the Jaguars. Tom Coughlin's Jags 3-1 at home in 96. First quarter, Ravens' second drive. Testaverde finds Michael Jackson. Or not, Tommy.
Right there. Call was a judgment call by the official that Mickey Washington pushed him out right there. He called him inbounds.
So we do have a hee-hee. Second quarter, 7-3 Ravens. Bam Morris, huge day. 109 yards rushing, and he picked up 52 yards there as he broke both tackles. 14-3 Ravens for Testaverde. His 8th straight game that he's thrown 2 or more touchdowns. Fourth quarter, Jags down 27-16. Mark Brunell to James Stewart, 8 yards. They missed a 2-point conversion, but they're down 27-22. Marcia Broda feeling testy. Jags next drive, 3rd and 2. Brunell, the former Brown, Keenan McCardle, first down inside the 10. First and goal. Jags still down. Brunell, the quarterback draw to the 1-yard line. Second and goal. Brunell, Roden. We're inside of a minute. You see the clock. Brunell in there, touchdown. Add 2 points. Jags up 30-27. Ravens' last chance. They're down 3 after the 2-point conversion by Jacksonville. Testaverde back to pass. He's hit. He loses the football. And that is that, as Jacksonville wins it by the final score of 30-27. So the Ravens have now lost 5 out of 6. Brunell, another nice game. 254 yards passing. Pete Mitchell, 6 catches for 80 yards. And Chris, it only seemed like a matter of time because Baltimore's got the 2nd worst defense in the entire league. Jacksonville, the 2nd overall offense. They were down, but they were able to come back down the stretch. They've lost a lot of close games, but this time they were able to pull one out.
Brunell and Vinny going into the weekend, the number 1 and number 2 in passing yards, and no one would have thought that. Yeah, you know what, Bill? There's this other game that we need to talk about.
Which one would that be?
No, let me see here. What we got here? Let's see. It says the series of the 90s, 7th meeting in 5 years. The teams are 3-3 since 92. Oh, yeah. Cowboys at 49ers. Need we say more? Here we go from 3.com Park. Dion, the former Niner, now Cowboy, read to Barry Switzer. 0-3 against the Niners. Niners say, no, you're not winning in our house. Bill Walsh on the sidelines. Dwight Clark, Harry Edwards, all the brain trust down there. But look at the way, bar none, William Floyd ran on the opening drive. 9 yards after they lead at 3-0, I should say. Uwazake for 9 more on a pass. Steve Young. Duyani Uwazake. I got to learn how to pronounce the name because it's 27 yards. 10-0 San Francisco.
Yeah, and Uwazake double team right there, but you saw it right at the end of that picture. Kevin Smith fell down.
So 10-0 beautifully early on the dump to Emmitt Smith. Ken Norton, the former Cowboy, has words with his ex-mate. They exchanged pleasantries. Norton has won all 6 of the meetings since '92. But then Steve Young, Broderick Thomas blasts him, and then Jim Schwartz knocks him out. That's Doc Clint on the sidelines, but Young would have to leave with a slight concussion. Again, would not return. It was the signal for Dallas to get going. Troy Aikman to Eric Bjornson for 12. Aikman to Irvin, the sideline, 12 more yards in front of Marquez Bolton's played well. Next play, Aikman to Emmitt Smith. Bounces outside for 14 more yards. That sets up on 3rd and goal. 37 seconds left in the half. Aikman, quarterback draw, touchdown, dives in. And it's now 10-7 San Francisco at the half. All Niners first quarter, all Cowboys second quarter. Elvis Gerback. Oh, my goodness, he was in the building to Darren Woodson. Right to the safety's hands. And the Cowboys in business at the 33. Aikman flushed out of the pocket. And Bryant Young and Gary Plummer hit him hard. The Niners defense hold. Chris Bonio kicks a field goal. We're tied at 10. Started the 4th quarter. Elvis Gerback sliced them up last year in Dallas. Ineffective today. To Terry Kirby, the swing pass. Kirby ran for 15 yards to the 45. That sets up Gerback to Kirby, and Kirby now making his presence felt, Tom.
Yeah, and Kirby has the great burst. You see him run through tacklers, and this is what the 49ers got him for, to be a go-to guy in a passing game in the red zone.
17-10 Niners, 11.5 to go. Now 7.5 to go. Aikman to Michael Irvin. It's 30 yards on the slant. Finally pulled down to the 18-yard line. 2 plays later. Aikman going for Dion. And Marquez Pope saves the day for San Francisco. The Niners have the ball with 6.5 to go. But, Gerback didn't even let his defense rest. Big pressure by Dallas. Gerback, the floater, into the hands of Frank Strickland. What are you doing? Big play by the defense. And George Seifert sees the Cowboys take over at the 15. Aikman to Bjornsson. He's wide open, beating Lee Woodall. 17 all, and we go to overtime. In overtime, the Cowboys get the ball first. Aikman, the quarterback sneak on 3rd and 1, just gets the first down. Then 1st and 10. Going to give it to Emmitt Smith. Bust through the middle, makes the move, and shows a little bit power on Merton Hanks. That sets up from the 28-yard, a 28-yard attempt by Chris Bonio. It's good. It's good. Barry Switzer has beaten the 49ers for the first time in 4 cracks. And the Dallas Cowboys, ladies and gentlemen, the Dallas Cowboys, in case you hadn't figured this out, are in the hunt. They are now 6-4 on our day when San Francisco lost. Not to mention the 2 teams ahead of them in their division, the Washington Redskins and the Philadelphia Eagles lost. Not to mention the fact that the Green Bay Packers lost. The Dallas Cowboys have won another game for survival. They have the Packers next Monday night. We said it was a 2-week span when the Niners could move ahead of the Packers or Dallas moved in or out of the hunt. You got to give the champs the nod because the way San Francisco came out, Tom, and controlled the first quarter, looked like another long day for the Dallas Cowboys.
And Chris Mort said this morning on Countdown that it was a game of desperation for the Dallas Cowboys, and I thought we saw that sense of desperation in their play today, coming back from a 10-0 deficit and winning this football game. A couple of things we talked about that they could not afford. I thought that this was a game Steve Young had to play a complete football game. I didn't think that they could afford to have Elvis Gerbach playing against the Cowboys when they were feeling as desperate as they were, and the last 6 games have been decided by turnover. This game no different, decided by the turnover advantage, which went to the Dallas Cowboys.
A lot of poise, I think, for the Cowboys because, again, the last 2 games, what was it, 17-20, it was 38 points. So the last 3 games, Tommy, 48 points scored in the first quarter by the 49ers against the Cowboys. But this time they said, wait a minute, we have defense too. We're not going to get blown out here.
Yeah, and I think when you have the kind of defense that these 2 teams have, what you want to do is when you get to the red zone, when you get in areas where you have a chance to score, you have to make things happen. And I thought that the Cowboys did a better job of that in the second half than the 49ers did.
Well, the 49ers passing game still a mystery. Young, of course, threw the 1 touchdown pass to Wazake, but Young 83 yards, Gerbach 88 yards passing, so adding that up quickly, it's 171. That's not what they need, and so, well, the plot has thickened in the NFC, hasn't it now? When we return, we got more highlights. We got game balls. Oh, we got plenty. And a wild finish between Denver and the Chicago Bears. And a milestone day for Dan Marino.
Primetime Players is brought to you by 1-800-COLLECT. The way we call collect today.
My game ball goes to Arizona quarterback Boomer Esiason. 522 passing yards, the 3rd most in NFL history as Arizona beats the Skins in overtime. Tommy, what do you have?
My game ball goes to 2 running backs, Lawrence Phillips and Harold Green. 27 carries, 212 yards combined, 3 touchdowns. Good day for the Rams.
Big day for the Rams. Tommy, when you get to 50,000 yards, which, by the way, is 28.5 miles, which, by the way, is more than the ozone layer and twice as far across as the Grand Canyon, Dan Marino gets my game ball. We're not done here. Could the Broncos go to 9-1? The Bears were awfully stubborn at Mile High.
And action. All right, Rocket, show us how easy it is to dial 1-800-COLLECT.
I just did it.
Did what?
Dialed 1-800-COLLECT.
Well, can you do it slower next time?
Fastest man in football, take 3.
Okay, try it again. Show us how easy it is to dial 1-800-COLLECT.
I just did it.
Did what?
Dialed 1-800-COLLECT.
You did?
Can we go to replay? Dial 1-800-COLLECT. It's fast, it's easy, it saves.
The Broncos trying to make gains for John Elway, and he still runs like that, doesn't he? He still has those moves, stuff. First quarter, the Broncos down 3-0, but John Elway to Shannon Sharp from the crib into the end zone. 9th touchdown of the season, 7-3, B-Man. Elway's early stats, 12 of 18. Leading rusher going into the day, Terrell Davis. Wants the big hole, but wow, there's nobody near him. It's a 25-yard game deep into Bears territory. 1,000 yards each of his first 2 seasons. Only 14 players have done it. Welcome to the club, Terrell Davis. That leads to a touchdown by him. It's 14-3 Broncos in the half, but here come the Bears. Curtis Conway working on Randy Hilliard. Conway goes up, gets the concentration, and pulls down the Dave Craig aerial. It's a touchdown, 11 yards. The Bears missed the conversion. It's 14-9. Ensuing kickoff. It's an onside kick by Jeff McJager. Anthony Marshall falls on it, and the Bears are gaining momentum. Then Rashaan Salam. It fumbles in the pile. Tyrone Braxton picks it up. What happened, Tom?
Well, the magic of Mile High Stadium, the referee's vision goes a little bit bad. Can't see that the ground caused that fumble, and the Broncos, they get possession.
45 seconds left. The Bears down 17-12. Craig to the end zone of Michael Timpson. It's incomplete. But Hilliard is pass interference, and the Bears have a chance to win. First and goal from the 1. 40 seconds to go. Raymond Harris. Stopped by Alfred Williams at the 1-yard loss. Second down. Harris outside. Stopped by Alan Aldridge and Bill Romanowski. Third and goal, the chance to win. Craig, play action. Jim Father Flanagan. It's he dropped it. It's fourth down. Craig to Curtis Conway. It's Braxton. Knocks it down. The Bears have 4 cracks from the 1-yard line. They can't get it across. The Broncos win it by the count of 17-12 to be the only team at 9-1, despite the fact that the Broncos ran for under 100 yards and John Elway threw for under 200. Good D by the Bears, but Denver wins it 17-12.
Yeah, and Mike Shanahan finds another area of his football team that comes through. His defense giving up 12 points, giving a goal line stand at the end of the game. So, again, a contribution from another area of this Bronco football team.
So Denver showing the way in the AFC West by 2 over the Chiefs. We have honor rolls on a wild Week 11. Let's go 100-yard rushers first. Adrian Morrell in a Jets loss. Terry Allen in a Redskins loss. Raymond Harris in a Bears loss. Unusual that the leading rushers had their teams lose. Same with Jerome Bettis. Same with Bam Morris. Harold Green, his team won. But this is the top 5 guys didn't win. And the 2 guys, of course, on the Rams, Green and Phillips, had 100 yards a day as the Rams are now a juggernaut. Passing. Boomer Esiason's on this list almost twice. 522 yards, the 3rd best passing day in the history of the National Football League. Mark Brunell, 354 in a win. Ty Detmer, 315 in a loss. Also throwing for 300 yards. Brett Favre, 310 in a loss. Receiving. Bert Emanuel. Well, he had 100 yards and the Falcons lost again by a little bit. Ronnie Harmon of the Oilers had a big game. He's such a good back out of the backfield. The Oilers win it. O.J. McDuffie had a 100-yard day, and the Dolphins win. And Carl Slim Pickens was big and fat as the Bengals won again for Bruce Coslin. Prime Monday, we get you set for the Lions at the Lightning Bolts from the Birth. It's 90 minutes. Leslie, including backstage with Mike Utley. Join Mike and the gang at 7:30 Eastern. Then Monday Night Football, ABC, 9 Eastern, 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific, 4 in Hawaii. Lions and Chargers. That's Monday Night Football at ABC at 9 Eastern time. Well, Tommy, it was a bizarre day. 5 first-place teams of the 8 going into the day, first place and tied, lost. 3 overtime games, and the AFC went 5-1 against the NFC today. The only NFC team to win was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So just when we thought we had it figured out, we know nothing.
Yeah, and the season becomes a game of attrition. I think that we can see as teams begin to lose people. Again, Green Bay lose Chewy today. I think that we're going to see teams, the teams that stay the healthiest are going to be the teams that are around at the end of the year.
Well, my goodness, the plot has thickened. Thanks to the judge, Bill Pidto and Tom Jackson. I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching NFL Primetime. We, of course, have a Sunday Night Football from Ericsson Stadium. They're going to be wrapped up in Charlotte. Panthers, Giants. Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann, Mark Malone on the call. Mike?
Chris, for the first time ever, a national TV audience will see the Carolina Panthers on their new home turf as they host the Giants on Sunday Night NFL. Their success has defied their age, and they've done it by building a battlefield where only they survive. For Carolina, home is where the Panthers prowl and growl and never lose.
This is our house, our territory. I mean, nobody's going to come in here and win a game in our house.
Tonight, the New York Giants come in with the swagger of a 2-game winning streak, and Carolina is bracing for a battle.
It's going to be a matter of guys just going out there and smashing each other in the mouth. And, the ones that can smash the longest is going to be victorious.